I'm standing with Adam from Wine Selectors in between some beautiful vines. This strange looking item next to me is a barbecue, and today we're gonna make meatballs.
Beautiful.
But you never thought about pairing meatballs and wine before. You probably have, haven't you?
Yeah, and it works. It works.
But that's like meatballs in red sauce, the
Yeah.
meatballs we know that you have with spaghetti.
The stuff that gets on your white t-shirt, that kind of stuff.
Everywhere. The stuff your kids have that you don't want them to. This is a little different, and I almost loathe to call it a meatball because it's kind of fancy. I'm using two different types of meat. I'm using ground pork and ground veal. So the ground veal has a sweetness to it.
Yep.
The pork also, but we get a lot of fat content coming through from the pork, which allows us not to use much oil in there, but we get a lot of flavour coming into there as well.
Beautiful.
Rather than cook or talk about what I'm going to cook and then cook, I'm going to do it all right now because it's a quick dish. So first, I can pop this into there. I've got some breadcrumbs.
That's milk, yeah?
Little bit of milk, which is rich in itself, and I almost want to make a bit of a paste. Could you fish me out a spoon from there?
Absolutely.
And this will, in essence, be our binder in here a little bit, because we're not putting egg into here. Whenever people make hamburgers, rissoles, meatballs, they're putting loads of eggs and flour. You don't really need anything in there, because we have fat and we have protein, and that's the binder itself. In this instance, we are putting breadcrumbs into there a little bit. So I'm just putting enough milk into there to make that into a paste. I'm gonna get a little bit of garlic into here.
Yep.
And just give it a bit of a, I just remembered I got a really hot barbecue. It's probably not good to be bashing there. And I'm gonna, can I give this skin to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what you're gonna do with it. What are you gonna throw it over your shoulder?
Yeah, I am.
Can I ask you a strange question? If you were to put it into the ground here, is some person 2 years down the track gonna get a hint of garlic in their next vintage of wine? Is it going to come out?
It's not, no. Let's hope that's not the case.
Okay, so I'm just going to finally chop this. I've just put a little bit of salt down.
I've seen that before. What's the chef's secret with the bit of salt?
Well, it's basically salt absorbs moisture, as you know.
Yeah.
When you chop garlic, if your knife isn't super sharp, you're probably bruising garlic and pushing it down and definitely releasing moisture onto the chopping board.
Okay.
So it picks up all the moisture, but it also holds all the garlic in place. Marjoram, are you a big fan of marjoram?
Yeah, I do like marjoram.
It looks just like oregano. Marjoram, not that common in this country, but I really love it. Now I'm bunching this in my hand because it's a little bit windy where we are.
I'm going to pour you a wine because I'm being lazy.
Well, that's your job, isn't it?
It is, and I'm not doing it, so I'm going to pour you a little wine.
Okay.
I've got 3 wines, actually.
Yeah.
Because I know this meatball dish, from what you've seen, I've seen the recipe's amazing. So I've got 3 wines from the Barossa Valley, the world-famous Barossa Valley.
Yep.
So I've got a little Viognier there for you.
Yeah. I always struggle with pronouncing that word.
Yes.
Viognier.
Viognier.
It doesn't come to the Aussie tongue easily.
It doesn't, no. So Viognier, French variety, which I guess is why our Australian accent butchers the pronunciation of it. But it's a variety that Barossa Valley has made their own.
Yep.
Taking out of the question the Eden Valley, which is a cooler region, the upper part of the Barossa. They do Riesling and Chardonnay and other aromatic whites really well.
Yeah.
But Viognier seems to be something that they do perhaps arguably better than any other region in the country.
Ready? I love this barbecue. It's my traveller.
Looks like it's got stories, that barbecue.
Burns. I think apparently it's been around. It's mine. I left it at a market. Apparently it's been all around Australia, if not the world.
And it's come back.
Probably cooked on, I mean, if only it could talk, it would be amazing. Some pecorino cheese. Quite a sharp variety, not dissimilar to Parmesan. I love it. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mix through. If you can't find it, use Parmesan, no big deal. If you can't, or you're not into pork and veal, use beef, it's okay. It's just a recipe. I've been warned to watch this lemon vine because there are spikes on there.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if we are cooking in leaves and with any vegetables and stuff like that, you want to give them a quick wash in cold water. I'm not going to wash these in cold water because they've got a lot of that flavour if you brush your finger across there. Smell your fingers. If we wash these, we're going to lose a lot of that. So just be a bit sensible, have a look. If there's, a bit of bird poo on there, probably use a different one or give them a bit of a wipe down. Bit of common sense. Okay.
Dealing with nature.
All right, so I feel with this wind, I'm putting little weights on everything there. Okay.
Another use for pecorino.
So I'm just gonna take these, give them a little bit of a roll around. I did give my hand a good wash before I started cooking here today.
So you were going to cook these in the lemon leaf?
Yeah, check this out.
Okay.
So we take a leaf,
Yeah.
like that, push it down. I'm gonna wrap that straight over the top.
That's
Push
awesome.
it down, straight on the barbecue. Cool, huh? So the lemon will do a couple of things.
Yeah.
It protects what you're cooking a little bit. With this, it's not so important, but it's great for cooking things like fish in. So
Yeah, okay.
I came across this technique in Italy, in Catania, down in Sicily there, and they cook a lot of fish wrapped up in lemon leaves. So when you got like a very soft, smaller fish over really hot charcoals, it is kind of nice to give it a bit of protection there so you don't just burn the outside. But you do when you're cooking with the lemon leaves, as soon as they start to hit the heat, you'll smell that. It will give a lot of flavor and aromats into that dish.
Oh, beautiful.
Now talk to me about these wines.
So,
Do your job, man.
yes, stop looking eagerly at these meatballs that you're cooking. I've got
Yeah.
2 reds, because reading your recipe, Sicilian, Southern Italian, there's a rusticity to the wines of Southern Italy. So I wanted to showcase what the Barossa does and some of their more rustic examples. So I've got Grenache,
Yep.
which I think is a superb grape variety, and I think it will work very well with this, because again, I'm thinking with the fat in the pork and the veal that you've got,
Yeah.
I want something with a bit of acidity just to give it a bit of freshness to offset that richness.
Yeah.
And I've also got a blend of Mataro, Grenache and Shiraz.
What happens if, for example, my wife is really into Viognier and I'm into Grenache? Have you got our back there? Have you got something covered?
Absolutely. We've got a...
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's almost like I knew you were going to ask that question. We've got a subscription service which allows you to choose what varieties you want. We
Yes.
call it our custom cellar
Yeah.
door release. So you sit down with your family and you go, okay, I like Barossa Shiraz, because damn Adam hasn't bought any in today's cooking show. You might want a bottle of fortified wine or a bottle of Prosecco, shall we say?
Yeah.
And you tell us what you want and we make it happen.
Now I'm just going to pop the lid on there and we'll let it cook. I reckon about 2 to 3 minutes each side, wind depending.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Adam, check this
Oh,
out.
the reveal.
Do you love the reveal?
Love the
It's pretty
reveal.
cool, man. I love this recipe. I've done it. You're not my first person I've done this with. I'm sorry. You know, it's one.
Break
it is-
that to me late in the piece.
Yeah. So this obviously isn't a meal in itself. I would serve this with like a beautiful big Italian-y coleslaw or just, you know, lovely tomatoes in season, salt and pepper, that kind of thing.
Perfect.
Cold pressed olive oil. Obviously with this, we don't eat the leaves.
Okay.
Not good to eat, but they do look lovely. I've grilled up a little bit of lemon on the sly there as well, just to put over at the edge. More importantly, what have we got here?
I've loaded you up while you've been busy cooking.
Yeah.
As we said, Barossa Valley's our focus here. A little bit left of centre to shine a spotlight on what they do, which is not Barossa Shiraz. You've got a Viognier and a Grenache from Kaesler, and you have a blend of Mataro, Grenache and Shiraz. Mataro, you may see it on a label as Mourvèdre as well.
Yeah.
And if you're in Spain, Monastrell is the name of that same grape variety.
Yes.
But perfect rustic style of red wine, which I think will match your meatballs to a T.
Mr. Adam, where do we find information about these awesome wines?
Wineselectors.com.au is your place to go. And if you want more information about the region's cellar doors to visit, and most importantly, how you support Australian family-owned wine brands, then wineselectors.com.au.
Check it out.
Thank you.